Do you have this burning desire to make your own fashion collection but do not know how? Are you a fashion student? Are you a business startup or an aspiring fashion student? Because if you are, then this video is certainly for you. But first things first, who am I? I am Samita. For those of you who do not know me, I am based in Melbourne, Australia, but I address a global audience. Now, in my last video, I spoke about inspiration. Where do you get your inspiration from for a fashion collection? And secondly, how do you set up your customer profile? In this video, I'll speak about the third element that influences fashion, and that's trends. You know, the other day someone told me, Samita, you guys in fashion, you are so random. You talk about blue one season, yellow the next season, and pink the season after that. But hey, we are not random. We cannot afford to be random. Fashion is a multi-billion-dollar industry, second only to IT, and a lot of careful thinking goes into arriving at what is on trend and what is not.
Dive deeper into trends. So, trends just don't happen out of the blue, you know, they just don't emerge all of a sudden. Trends are deeply impacted upon by the pest factor, political, economic, social and technological factors. Now, on this channel, I would be doing history of fashion with you, and you'll learn how all the major political upheavals like the two wars, the First and the Second World War, also major events like the Vietnam War had a profound impact on fashion and emerging fashion trends. Economics. Now, if you look at economic downturns, you know, if you look at, let's say, the Great Depression of the 30s and the boom and the bust of the 80s, and also the more current, the more recent 2009 recession, you will see how all of these, you know, economic changes actually changed the course of fashion. So there are several trends that were thrown up by economic events, like for instance the red lipstick syndrome of the 30s. So all of that I talked to you about. I'll be discussing more in detail later. Suffice to understand that politics and economics both have a profound impact on fashion and are responsible for the emergence of many new fashion trends. Then society, and this is probably the best time. There could be no other time better than the circumstances that we are in right now. And you must have noticed that the current social situation that we are in, how it has thrown up a demand for what has become a kind of a fashion accessory willy-nilly, you know, whether we like it or not. There is a demand for a particular accessory that everyone's making nowadays, matching with your outfits and ensembles. So all of that is happening because of the current social situation. And last but not the least, technology. So I'll give you a little example. I'll tell you a little story. You know, when I was a rookie designer, a design intern straight out of fashion school, one of my jobs at the end of the day would be to send out parcels containing patterns, fit samples to our different clients, different buyers. So come 5 o'clock and the courier person would come and he'd pick up some 20 samples which would go out to clients all over the world. And we had to wait for comments to, the parcels to reach our clients and then get their approval or disapproval, or they'll come back with their comments for modification, and we would have to again redo everything, resend everything and wait for the final approval before we could start production. But now we don't have to do all of that. Lucky us. We can do, send the samples, send the fit samples virtually, send the patterns electronically, and the fit samples can be, put on virtual mannequins and shown electronically to clients. So in a matter of not even a day, you get your approval. And that's why, and that's how the big production houses, the Zaras of the world, can come up with new ranges, new production lines every 2 months or so. It wouldn't have been possible without technology. So computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, and, technical advancements like digital printing, 3D printing have forever changed the course of fashion and thrown up new fashion trends. So suffice to understand the political, economic, social and technological factors. Now what we have an acronym for all of that. So that's the PEST factor. PEST, political, economic, social and technological changes that influence the macro environment, the global macro environment, or even your local micro environment can have a profound impact on fashion trends. So make a note of all the PEST factors in your diary. So that's why a fashion designer has to be very aware of what's happening in this world, be it political events, economics, history, social changes, technical advancements. Now, some of you would say, but I have nothing to do with fashion. I do cushions, I do curtains, I do cars. But hey, if you are into product design, anything that you do is touched by fashion trends. So it could be cushions, it could be carpets, it could be cars, just about anything that has anything at all to do with design. So fashion trends apply to fabrics and fiber, silhouettes, color, theme, haute couture, RTW, media and merchandising. If you do not understand terms like silhouettes, which is pretty much the outline of a particular garment, haute couture, suffice to understand that it's high-end fashion, and RTW, ready to wear. Media is about fashion media, and merchandising is all about your display. How do you do up your windows? How do you display your products in a store, virtual or physical? So if you want to learn more about all of these terms, then subscribe to Learn with Samita Facebook group. Now this is open only to the subscribers of Learn with Samita channel. And so first things, you have to do two things. First of all, you subscribe to Learn with Samita, DIDA's YouTube channel. And then you jump onto Facebook and join the Learn with Samita Facebook group, which gives you all the additional resources. So please understand that trends touch anything and everything to do with design. And of course, it applies to lifestyle. Lifestyle means all your, lifestyle products, your furnishings, your interiors, women's wear, children's wear, knitwear, woven garments, fashion accessories, be it scarves, beautiful scarves. This tie-dye scarf is on trend. The color is blue, which is again on trend. So this is how trends apply to anything that has to do with product design. So you don't have an alternative. You have to follow fashion trends. Of course, trends are influenced by the PEST factor. But where do they actually come from? For a very long time, they were coming from above, trickling down from the celebrities, actors, singers, royalty, political figures. But in the 60s, teenagers emerged as a new section of independent consumers, and trends started trickling up. So from the subcultures, the grunge, the punks, the goths. So that was the beginning of anti-fashion. So all of that you'll learn later. So don't get too stressed if you cannot understand all of this. So first it was trickle down, then it was trickle up, and it can also trickle across. For instance, it can come from another geographical location, another culture, another design aesthetic from another part of the world. So for instance, I was at an awards show right now, just a few days back, and African fashion was so strong. I could, everyone was talking about and, going absolutely gaga over African fashion trends, African colors, African textile aesthetic, African prints. So it can trickle down, trickle up, and trickle across. And of course, there are certain other factors that we will talk about, but suffice to understand that these three directions are where the fashion trends emerge from. Now, coming to the most important questions. Where do you get your trend fix from? The million-dollar question. So there are several forecasting agencies that you can get your trend fix from. So there are agencies like WGSN, Mudpie, Promostill. There are publications like Collezioni or Textile View. Now, subscriptions to these agencies do not come cheap, and even the publications are quite pricey, quite expensive. But you know what? Don't be disheartened. What you can do, I know as students you don't have oodles of money to spend on subscriptions to forecasting agencies. So what you can do is you can follow the different fashion bloggers and vloggers like myself, you can get your trend fix from those blogs and vlogs. So there are several fashion blogs. I'll put up a list of fashion bloggers and vloggers on Learn with Samita, the Facebook group, which is open to all the subscribers of Learn with Samita, the YouTube channel. So you can get your trend fix from the bloggers and vloggers like myself, who would be connected to all of these forecasting agencies, and they would be doing the rounds of fashion shows and different fashion events, the trade fairs, the trade shows, and they would get the gist of all of these trends, and they would write about the current fashion trends, the upcoming fashion trends. Maybe trends are always like we look ahead 6 months into the 6 months or even 1 year into the future. So what they do is they keep traveling. They'll be attending all of the fashion shows and trade shows, and also be subscribed to all of these forecasting agencies, and they would be writing about the current trends or the upcoming trends on their blogs and blogs. So if you are subscribed to Learn with Samita, the Facebook group, you'll have access to a list of fashion forecasting agencies and also fashion blogs and blogs that you can follow. We are coming to that critical question. So can you all blindly apply the trends? Clearly not. So you have to strike a balance between inspiration. What is it that you want to make? What is it? Most importantly, what is it that your customer wants? And finally, the trends. So we are all inspired. We all want to make red carpet dresses, wedding gowns, ball gowns. But hey, does your customer ask for all of that? Is your customer looking for red carpet dresses or wedding gowns, ball gowns? If the answer is no, then you cannot make wedding dresses or red carpet ensembles. Thirdly, the trends. Say the trend dictates that, puffball skirts, for instance, would be in fashion this season. But your customer profile is about plus size women. So your typical client is a plus size woman. So would you want to make lots of puffball skirts? Now here some of you would say, but we have seen women who dress out of the ordinary, outside, out of the box. So have I. I have seen many women who dress just to please themselves, dress, in a manner they feel like. They do not give a damn about what others think. They dress to please themselves. But here, be mindful of the fact that we are talking about the core customer profile. So the word core here is very important. We are looking at the average customer. What would an average plus size woman be comfortable wearing? Will it be a puffball skirt? So you have to strike that synergy. Right on top is what your customer wants. And then you have to synergize your customer's requirements with your own inspiration and also the fashion trends. So this is the journey of nearly all fashion trends. The bell curve. So initially it's the beginning or the introduction, then it's the rise. Then the trend reaches its peak, then the downward slide or finally oblivion. So where would you want to place your collection? Would it be right at the beginning, the introduction? You can do that if you are feeling very strongly about the trend and your instinct is good. You have years of experience and you are willing to risk a little bit of money. But I would suggest, the rise phase is a good time to introduce your collection, so that by the time the trend reaches its peak, you have ample inventory, enough stock to be able to sell and maximize profits. You can make the most out of the trend when it's at its peak. It's never a good time to start once the trend has started, it's begun its downward slide. However, this bell curve doesn't apply to all things fashion. You might come across a few products or a few trends that defy this bell curve. Can you guess, name a few? Well, I can name a couple for you. The first one, for instance, is the little black dress. The second one, never out of fashion, a nice, sparkling, crisp white shirt, be it for men or for women.
Now you've learnt about inspiration, customer profile and trends. You are now empowered to create your first fashion collection. In my next video, I talk about how to actually set up and present your fashion collection. I'll talk about the mood boards and the storyboards, etc. Do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also, join the Facebook group Learn with Samita for all the extra handouts, etc. And if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments. So, till next time, bye for now.